Hey gang, it's Paul with Stud Pack. Welcome back to our channel. In our previous video, you saw Jordan and I share with you some of our tips and tricks on how to tape and mud drywall. And in fact, today in this video, we're going to share some more tips and tricks with you. And in fact, make sure you stay tuned because later on, we're going to show you a tip that a viewer commented down below. We loved it, so we're going to try it out in one of the bathrooms. But first, we have an issue up here on the ceiling in the kitchen that I didn't notice till I was taping. And we got to fix it. I can't leave it alone. So if you like that kind of stuff where we show you our mistakes and we show you how we fix them, make sure you hit that like button for us. Subscribe if you're brand new. But for right now, let's head up on the ladder and I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. Now, if you remember back in the demo stage, in the kitchen where we are, this used to be a 7-foot drop ceiling. And we wanted to raise it up. So we took down the 7-foot ceiling and above it, it was already framed at 8 feet, just like the rest of the house. We checked the framing and it was very flat, but I guess I missed a spot. Check it out. I'm gonna put the level up there and we got a big belly right here. It's actually worse than that because I took the screws out. Can you see that when I move the sheet? By contrast, check it out over here. That's what we're after. And that's what I thought the whole ceiling was. But this one raft right here is doing this. So I'm gonna go in the attic and we're gonna show you how we're gonna fix that. All right, gang, back in our favorite place, the attic, but it's January, so it's pretty bearable up here. Now this is the joist we were talking about right here. It's got a serious crown like this on it. So I got my 2x4 right here. I've got 3 deck screws already pre-started in it. All I'm gonna do, I'm gonna push down on the 2x4. George's gonna be downstairs with the level. And when I get that thing flat, I'm just gonna drive these screws into this joist and then we'll reattach the drywall to the 2x4 and that'll get rid of that bad spot. You ready, bud?
Yep.
Let's do it.
Yep, just go as much as you can. That's good right there. And this is pretty good back here, Dad. So if you just want to give it a little push and screw it, that's perfect. Yep.
Right on. Jordan says it's good. This is my first check. You ready, bud?
Yep.
All right. Oh yeah, look at that. Less than an 1/8. Perfect, dude. I can live with that.
Yep.
So that's all it took, gang. You know, when I first saw that hump, I was pretty discouraged. I was like, how am I gonna fix that? Am I gonna have to fill it with mud? I knew that wasn't the solution. So I just came in here this morning and said, you know what? I can take all these screws out, get in the attic, put a 2x4 in as a new joist, right? Push it down, fasten the drywall to that, and I'll be good to go. And sometimes that's all it takes. Don't be afraid to do something like that. It's a lot easier than floating that out, because I would have regretted not repairing that. But now it's all done. Let's put our drywall screws in it and secure it for good. All right, this screw right here, that was a swing and a miss. Instead of taking time to pull it out, just tap it in. Nice, dude. All right, I'm so glad we did that, Jordan. That's one of those little things that's gonna make a huge impact at the end of this project. Another thing that can make a huge impact at the end of your project is how you finish off your inside corners on your drywall. Let's head back into one of the bathrooms and we're gonna show you a couple of tips that hopefully ends a lot of the frustration with inside corners. All right, gang, we're back here in the master bath where we're gonna show you how to do inside corners. Now we're talking about skim coating them. You've already done your tape coat, right? You see the tape right there? Now the goal is to cover the tape so we don't see it. Now there's a few methods to do this with, and inside corners can give you a lot of frustration. We're gonna show you a couple of methods on how to skim coat inside corners, and one of them is gonna give you guaranteed results. But first, let me show you how most people attempt it with just a 6-inch knife. All right, we've tinted our mud blue for you with just some powder like you'd use in a chalk line, right?
Yep.
That's a custom blue color over there for Stud Pack.
Should be green.
Yeah, it should be green. I didn't have any green powder. And actually, this is a good tip to know if you're, say you're at the end of your project and you have like 4 or 5 spots around your house that you need to go and catch. You can do that, and then you know where to come back and sand. You know where you made those patches, right? Because sometimes it just all blends together at the end. All right, let me show you this step, and I'm gonna attempt to do an inside corner, both sides with a 6-inch knife. I think I put too much powder in that. That's really blue. Maybe we don't even need to paint anymore. Maybe we can just color coat the mud, huh?
Yeah. They call that a level 5 finish.
Yeah.
Maybe a level 6. We just invented a new level.
All right, I've got the mud on the wall. Now here's what usually happens. I've got it here and here. I'm gonna come and finish this edge. But as you can see, this edge of the knife dug into that corner. Now if you're really good and patient, you can come down here and do a pretty good job of making that work. But I'm gonna tell you, that is pretty slow. You're doing it up there on a ladder, it's gonna be pretty hard. And you need to come back and sand that anyway. So let me scrape that off and we're gonna show you the second method. Now you've all seen these in the stores. This is an inside corner trowel for drywall. But check that out. Does that look like it's 90 degrees? It's not. So it's critical that you hold this at the right angle to your corner and also that you give it the right amount of pressure. See, these blades are gonna flex and it's gonna tool the inside of the corner and feather the outside edges. I've already put some mud on the wall. Let's give it a whirl. I'm just gonna pull slowly down. Right there. Now, I can already tell, and this is one of the issues using a corner trowel. The goal is to cover the tape, and as you can see right here, I did not cover the tape. I got it pretty good on that side, and in fact, I think I got it all. But that's the challenge of this tool. Putting equal amount of pressure on this wall and on this wall, keeping the angle right, and you're up on a ladder or working down like this. Pretty difficult to use, but it can get the job done. The other thing you gotta know about that tool, the corner trowel, is it's gonna leave this ridge right here. Maybe I had a little too much mud on the wall, but I always end up with that little ridge. So I'd go back to my 6-inch knife and I'm gonna use it to feather it out. I'm gonna press hard against the left-hand side of the blade and let the right-hand side of the blade do the work. Just like that. Let me come over here and clean up this edge. Just like that. And I can see right here, I got a little line at the transition, but that's nothing that a little sandpaper would take care of. But doing a whole house like that, all these ceilings overhead with a corner trowel, to me, it's a lot of work and a lot of time. So let's talk about method 3. So if you don't have a corner trowel or you don't want to spend the time or the money to go buy one, here's a foolproof method that'll guarantee you great results. It's going to take you an extra day, but it's well worth it in the end. Let's come down here where we have a fresh spot and check it out. Get some of our nice compound. I'm going to go a little bit more. And I'm done, gang. I'm going to let that dry. Then tomorrow, or if you do this early enough in the morning, you can come back later in the evening. This will be dry. And now you're going to put a coat here. And this side of the blade is going to ride along the coat that's dry on this wall and give you a super sharp inside corner. Now you do need to be careful with the mud right here. Come around here, Jordan, check this out. I got some mud on the wall. You can either try to remove this. It'll make your job a little easier when you put the drywall compound on here, or you can scrape or sand it off after the fact.
That's it?
Yeah.
That's the tip.
All right. So that's it, gang. Just do one side at a time. Let it dry, come back and do this side. You're gonna get a great inside corner. But you're probably saying, well, stud pack, what about up here where I got 3 corners meeting all together? What am I gonna do about that? Let's head into the hall bath and we're gonna show you how to handle it. All right, this is how I tackle a corner where I got a ceiling and the 2 walls intersecting with that inside corner method, just using a 6-inch knife. I'm gonna do the corner of one wall, get a little more mud on there. There we go. Feather that out. And I'm gonna come over to the adjacent wall and go this direction. And then on the ceiling, I think you kind of see what I'm doing here. I'm gonna come up here and I'm gonna go that way. Now remember how I showed you the edge of the blade removes the mud from your previous pass, and that's exactly what it did there. So I'm gonna try to use my blade and fix that as best I can. But what I'm doing is, all I have to do is fix this little piece right here. I'm not trying to fix the whole edge. And that's actually pretty good.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna let it dry, right? And then tomorrow, or again in the evening, if you do this in the morning and it can dry, I'm gonna come back. Pass number 2 is gonna be 1, 2, 3. So that edge of the blade is now riding against the edge I put down previously, and it's dry now. Now you do have to do a little sanding right here, but it gives you a great edge. I like that method, and it's what I always do. And I can do a whole house pretty much with this knife and an 8-inch knife and a 12-inch knife. Now, speaking of inside corners like this, it just so happens one of our subscribers left a great comment down below that I absolutely loved, and I want to try it. And as it turns out, I forgot to do the 2 inside corners behind the toilet. Let's set up over there and let's show you the tip that he was talking about. Now check out this inside corner I did yesterday, gang. All I do there, I just tear the tape off a square corner, and it does overlap in the corners, and it can create a bulge. But a big shout out to one of our subscribers, straight to finish. He gave us a tip saying, dude, don't make a square cut, do a mitered cut. I was like, of course, it sounds so simple, but it's such a great idea. So remember back when I showed you the insulated pipes that I mitered on the insulation? Now I'm gonna start mitering my paper tape. Let's hop up on the ladder and give it a whirl. Do I get my protractor out and do a perfect 45? All right. It's gonna show great against the blue.
Okay.
Check it out, I've got some of our blue drywall mud up on the wall. Just gonna show this tip great with the white on the blue. First thing you do, just crease the tape normally, like you would. I'm gonna use the same shears that I used to cut the metal corner bead. Make sure I do this right. And we're gonna cut it at a 45. Just like that. I'm gonna apply it to the wall. You kind of getting the idea, right? Let's do these other two, put them on the wall, see how it looks. And you can slide these down just like I'm doing to make those joints perfectly tight, just like that. I think I'm in love.
That's pretty sick.
It is.
Wow.
That's one of those tips, it's like,
duh.
it's right.
Yeah.
It's brilliantly simple.
Right.
Right? Focus on brilliant.
Right on, straight to finish.
Good job, buddy. Appreciate it. The other part about taping drywall that gives people a lot of trouble is the butt joints. So here's a butt joint right here. It's where the square ends of the sheet come together, the 4-foot end, right? The long edge is tapered, like right here. So what happens when you tape the butt joint, check it out. You've got a little build up there, and that's normal. Now come over here to a taper joint. That's a recess, right? So the blade's not rocking. Now typically when I do this, I'll get my 12-inch blade. I'll make a pass right here. I'll come to the right side, taper it out. The left side, taper it out. So by the time I'm done, I feather that out 32, almost 3 feet, right? And you'll never see or feel that transition between the two sheets. And if you struggle with that, here's a method that's DIY friendly and can guarantee you great results. Just get some mud on your blade, just like that, and come over about 5 inches from the center of your tape, and I'll make a pass. I'm gonna do the same thing on the left-hand side. Just get it as smooth as you can. Just like that, and let it dry. Then in the evening or tomorrow when you come back, these two high spots are gonna act as a screed, just like when you're screeding concrete on a form. And your blade is gonna ride on this high spot and this high spot and fill in the middle. Then you're gonna come over here, feather that side, and feather that side. Now, I put this on a little bit thin, but let me put a little bit more mud on there and see if we can get a shot of how it looks like when the blade is sitting on the blue drywall compound and what kind of gap we get in the middle. And if I bring the knife in, can you see how the knife is touching the wet mud on either side, but I have a span, I have a clear span right here. It's hard to do on camera because this knife wants to go in the mud, but that's the idea, right? This is gonna dry, and that's gonna dry, and then when you fill in the middle, you're gonna ride here and get a smooth plane all the way across. You could taper this down like that, or you could even go farther if you want. And that's a great way to feather out a butt joint and get great results on your drywall project. Give it a shot, you guys got this. The last method we wanna talk to you about is what happens when you have drywall that abuts another surface that's existing. In this case, this nice 70s paneling, but maybe you have shiplap. Maybe it's a tile wall, maybe it's wallpaper. You want the addition or your remodel drywall to abut to it, but you don't want to damage that. So they make a product called Tearaway Bead. This is a section of it right here. It is designed to slip in right there between the drywall and your protected surface. And this stuff is designed to be glued on with contact cement. I got a can of spray adhesive, and then you can put a few staples in there to hold it if you want. And we're actually going to use it in this spot behind Jordan, so let's head over there and show you exactly how this thing works. Now we're going to use the tearaway bead on the end of this wall right here. This side right here, which you can't see, we're going to put the paneling back. That's what the owner wants. Now I could just put a piece of corner trim here, but I got a problem. If I just mud this right now, it's not going to be square, is it? Because the corner bead has this high point on it, right? I need to duplicate that on this side because when I mud it, I want this to be pretty square to this. If I don't do it, you know what's going to happen. This is going to be angled. I don't want that. Now I can't put corner bead there, and that's the beauty of this tearaway bead. It's got that little piece built in right there. See that little ridge? We're going to mount it right there, and the putty knife is going to ride on that ridge on the right and the corner bead on the left and infill all that beautifully. Then when it's all done, here's why it's called tearaway bead. This part, well, this part tears off like that, and you're left with a finished product.
Right on.
Yep. So I've got my glue sprayed here, and on this part, this is already cut to length, and it's ready to go. I do have the staple gun out just in case I need a few staples. Let's put this up and put some mud on it. Nice.
Looks like it grabbed.
It did. They make corner bead out of the same vinyl product, and a lot of the pros just glue it all on, right?
Yep.
I don't think I need staples, man. We're there. Feels good. All right, let's put some mud in the pan. No more blue stuff, and we'll fill that in and show you how nice it looks. Check that out, gang. The end cap on this wall, it looks beautiful. I can just tell from right here, I've got two 90-degree surfaces. It's going to make finish work a lot easier. Now, unfortunately, we can't tear this off right away, but if you guys get this video to like 3,000 likes, we'll be sure to show you that first clip of the next video. Now, this is made by a company called Trim Tech. We're not sponsored by them, but we sure like to shout out great companies. You know what it's time for, guys. You got to get out your paper tape, make a nice mitered edge around your like button, smash it for us. Give us your own tips and tricks down below in the comments. We love reading them all. Really appreciate it. Subscribe if you haven't already, and we're going to see you on our next video.